This that no nonsense. I'm coming to another video talking about, does LeBron James deserve MVP, or is he going to catch Giannis in the MVP race? My answer is, unless Giannis gets injured, I think Giannis is going to win MVP, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's really that close. What LeBron doing is great. I think his team is a lot better than even he expected. Usually LeBron James loves to be the underdog, right? And the media are going to try to make it seem like LeBron is the underdog, so when they win, right, and normally his teams are stacked, but they're still going to try to push the underdog narrative that LeBron James is Superman that did it all by himself. It's normally what they like to do in the season. However, Giannis is the true Superman this season, right? He has pretty much a team built around him and doesn't really have a second superstar. LeBron James has Anthony Davis. They're surrounded with shooters, and really still trying to give him some help. Right? When the Lakers truly have everything, it's really just going to come down to if LeBron shows up. So really, a lot of these Lakers analysts or Lakers fans is going to hope that the Clippers doesn't have it together, or if they're injured, right? But I think the Lakers can compete with Milwaukee because I think LeBron and AD, like I said, it's going to be two stars versus Giannis. However, it's going to be a good matchup if the Lakers beats the Clippers. But as far as this MVP discussion, I think it's Giannis, right? So this is going to be a funny one because obviously the media wants LeBron to win another MVP because they know that success and accolades, right, is the only thing that he lacks behind Michael Jordan. And this is the first time in a long time where LeBron has had a success team reminiscent of when he was in Cleveland, and really since Miami, when I believe that's the last time he won MVP, was when he was in the Miami Heat. So they're going to try to say, can he catch the almighty Giannis? And I don't think he can, right? Shannon Sharpe is obviously going to say LeBron because Shannon Sharpe is a shameless LeBron James fanboy. He's a media goon, right? And a media mistress. But he's a bit too old to be worshiping LeBron James this way. Skip Bayless, I don't know who is he really going to select, but I do know this. He do not like Giannis Antetokounmpo based on what he did in the playoffs. Skip Bayless is a you got to be clutch or I don't like you type guy. And he doesn't see Giannis as clutch. If you're not clutch, Skip Bayless do not like you. Right? And I suppose Chris Broussard is going to choose Giannis Antetokounmpo because obviously eye tests and stats to support it because Chris Broussard gets into more details than obviously the guys at Fox. So let's hear what they got to say about it.
Shannon, because we're talking about LeBron and you got a look on your face, I'll start with you. Can LeBron catch Giannis and win the MVP?
What you mean, kid? I'm not sure you're not in the front of Giannis right now. If you factor in, because everybody love you know what I love?
I gotta hear this.
Yeah. I love when people say they love analytics and they love third level stats until you get to the third level stats and they don't support their argument.
This is funny and this is rich right off the bat. You see what Shannon Sharpe is? Shannon Sharpe is a talker, right? He got researchers, and Colin Cowherd alluded to him having researchers, and he just talk. So these guys are TV personality. They're not analysts. Shannon Sharpe is the guy that a lot of guys write his notes and he just talk it out. This guy just accused everybody of saying that guys love to use stats, but when it doesn't fit their reality, then they don't want to use it. That's the true definition of what they do for LeBron. When you hear a lot of these age-based or the first ever in this amount of time stats you never heard before, they're just basically adding on to LeBron. And like my stance on LeBron, I don't think LeBron is overrated. He just have a lot of credit that he doesn't deserve, and they over-exaggerate the good things that he can do. Since he can rebound, they're going to say that he's as good as a rebound as Dennis Rodman. Right? Since he can pass, they're going to say that he's as good as a passer as Magic Johnson, which he is not. Since he can shoot, they're going to try to put him in the shooter's range. Obviously, it's going to be foolish to put him amongst Steph or Clay, but you already have these news outlets, or rather these websites saying that he's a top 10 shooter of this decade. So they're pretty much going to over-exaggerate a lot of the skills he can do. But when you look at these stats, when you look at Daryl Morey, Zach Lowe, Nick Wright, Brian Rehnhorst, these analytical nerds, they're going to, the reason why they like LeBron is because of two things. It's like a deal in my eyes. LeBron makes these little stats like PER plus minus seem absolute legitimate. And The media use these stats to push up LeBron because analytics and statistics is the only way to push him up to this Michael Jordan versus LeBron debate. That's the only reason why they name these stats. So it's quite funny to me how he accused people of saying that we don't add context to stats. Because if anybody else get these stats, they call them stat chasers. You look at James Harden, Russell Westbrook. They're stat chasers, even though LeBron openly chases assists. Right? You look at Luka Doncic. Right? You can't call him a stat chaser, so now you got to say something else. They're going to accuse him of playing in a soft era, right? So now they want to add context to the stats. But when you talk about LeBron, they don't add those deep contexts because they use stats to boost them up, right? So Shannon Sharpe is playing that when you call him something, he's that I know you are, but what am I type thing.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody says
and you got to watch out for that because Nick Wright do that crap too. When you say that, a lot of guys love to say LeBron gets hated or LeBron doesn't get the appreciation he deserves. In other words, they try to reverse it around or try to change what a lot of guys who see what they're doing saying. Like they say that you guys overappreciate LeBron. You guys don't hold him to no accountability. So they try to reverse it and say, oh man, we're hating on LeBron. We always hold him to immense accountability and never give him credit. They try to switch it around. Like, I know you are, but what am I? You got to watch out for that. And you got some guys that falling for that.
I want the truth. But people don't really want the truth, Chris, because it would destroy their illusions. See, this illusion that, oh, Giannis is just running away with this thing. But when you get the real plus minus and it factors in your teammates and the teams you're playing, it's not even close. LeBron James is 10.2, Giannis is 7.8. So the gap from when LeBron is on the court to when he leaves, to when Giannis is on the court, to when he leaves, clearly, I wasn't going to even say this, but I told Chris off camera, I was secretly rooting for Ghost. I was secretly.
Well, as far as Giannis and LeBron, another reason why Giannis teams normally fail is because they overly feed him the ball, right? So Giannis better be careful with that whole planet moon type system. But obviously, they run more of a system. They run more of Mike Budenholzer's system. LeBron James' system is a planet moon type offense, right? I call it planet moon is because LeBron James is the planet, everybody else is the moon. And when he sits down, those moons fall out of orbit. This is why his offenses crash when he sits down. Because it is built for him to be Superman, chase stats, and still win. This is why I don't feel sorry when guys say he has to do a lot or he doesn't have enough ball handlers. He had multiple ball handlers last year. And guys say he didn't have enough shooting, in particularly the media. So now he has the shooting and now he doesn't have enough ball handlers. The curse to this system is he's never going to have enough ball handlers, and his offense is going to crash when he sits down because it's not a true system. It's a planet and moon type system. So Giannis' team obviously is a lot better because in the past they'll overfeed Giannis and even have him dribble from the perimeter. It was like a planet moon, and when Giannis gets trapped, then that whole system fails because they overly relied on Giannis. So now a lot of those guys are coming into their own. They're able to pick up the slack if Giannis is not doing great. Because they got to be able to do that because that's going to determine their success in the playoffs.
Argument a lot stronger, right?
Hey, Chris, I was secretly rooting for Golden State because of LeBron, because I'm like, oh, see there? That's what I'm talking about.
Real quick on that, would you believe Golden State by 5 games has the worst record in all of basketball? By 5 games,
Yeah,
that's how bad they are. Atrocious. Yeah.
Who them?
Just how
I don't
quickly
think-
it
Yeah,
falls,
I know.
you know?
This
Exactly.
was a dynasty, and now they're way worse.
Yeah.
Like-
Skip, when you look at this, if you look at the story all season, it's been who? It's been what?
That's the story you all push. I know what you're going to say, right? You're going to assume that nobody expected LeBron to win despite having Anthony Davis. Because when he did get Anthony Davis, you said that they're championship contenders, or you said that they're back in the mix, Shannon Sharpe, right? So he got Anthony Davis, then they got Danny Green. You really want Kawhi Leonard. But if you had Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis, you guys still were going to say that how they were underdogs, right? You guys were going to push that stupid narrative how everybody wants to play with LeBron. The other stupid narrative how he makes everybody better. And the worst of all, he can go to any team and take them to the finals. The 3 most BS narratives in the history of the game. And this is why a lot of animosity comes LeBron James' way. It's because A lot of guys aren't fan of LeBron James, and when you overly worship a person and force feed them to someone, they're going to get sick of it. So a lot of guys are going to want to see what the talk is about. And when LeBron James makes a mistake, they're going to want to see you hold him to some accountability. And when you don't hold him to no accountability, you lose your credibility, and it creates animosity towards LeBron James. And the animosity grows even stronger when LeBron James hide behind the media, because LeBron James changes the narrative, hide behind the media, and make an excuse knowing that the media is going to back him up. That's where a lot of the animosity comes from at LeBron James. A lot of guys are going to say he's the most quote-unquote scrutinized athlete. It's not that, and to be honest with you, I don't even think that crap is true. A lot of that animosity and scrutiny comes from, like I said, he gets a lot hated than he should, is because guys are waiting for someone to really call him out on his mistakes that a lot of people feel are lies. Notice that whenever he plays like a Dirk, when Dirk had that team, a Kawhi Leonard or a KD, it's like when you see him play, a lot of guys are questionable of why he don't go back at the superstar. It's like you believe something and that reality conflicts, so it confuses you. You're fighting against reality. And once you're able to come in terms with it, right? Because if you don't, you're just going to make up excuses, or you're going to hope for Shannon Sharpe and Nick Wright to make up excuses so you guys can run and cling on to that excuse, because guys like to regurgitate nowadays. But you're going to wait for someone to call out LeBron and for LeBron to acknowledge this. LeBron doesn't understand he will be liked a lot more if he acknowledged his weaknesses a lot more and overcome them. He'll seem a lot more relatable, and he'll seem a lot more like Superman. But he wants to be seen as a guy that has no weaknesses. He wants to be the quote-unquote king that he is.
Nobody saw this coming. No. Chris Broussard, what'd you have with Chris at 47 wins?
The Lakers?
Yeah. How would you?
No, I had them around 53. Same as you.
No. I had 56.
I was around.
I had 56. And now we about to be.
You were hesitant. You wasn't as confident on that 56 as you are now.
I bet Skip 5 cases. He tried to get me to go to 60. I asked him a couple of weeks ago, you want to do 60? He said, nah, he backed off that.
This is all revisionist history. All made up.
Look, when you look at what LeBron is, look, there's no way, you know this, is that when LeBron does this team without, I believe the Bucks are a playoff team without Giannis. Now, they might not be 60 games, like they're going to win, they're going to get close to 70 with it. You know good well, even with AD on this Lakers team, they're not going to the playoffs.
I think they are going to the playoffs. If you took LeBron off this Lakers team, they won't be running the LeBron James system. Usually a lot of guys, when you guys do these stipulation type arguments, a lot of guys will try to picture the exact same thing but minus something. What you guys got to do is, things work at a domino effect, right? And things work at a different way. Like when something else happens, then a whole bunch of situations and domino or butterfly, it's called a butterfly effect, happens. That's how life works. The exact same thing is not going to happen minus someone, right? That's how people think. That exact same thing is going to happen, but minus that dude is not going to happen. No, it's another butterfly effect. If LeBron James wasn't on this team, they would run a totally different system. Kyle Kuzma will be playing a lot better, I guarantee you that. Because Kyle Kuzma plays a lot better when LeBron doesn't play. That tells me that he doesn't fit in the LeBron James system, which I've already known. So Kyle Kuzma would have been playing a lot better. They had shooters all around them, right? And if LeBron James wasn't on this team, right, they'll run more of a system-type offense. They'll probably have a lot more free agents. Probably Kawhi Leonard would have even went there. So a lot of things probably would have happened if LeBron James wasn't there, right?
Not even close. They're not even the 8th seed. So I don't.
Well, Memphis Grizzlies can make the playoffs without LeBron. I'm pretty sure that Lakers can make the playoffs with Anthony Davis and crew.
I don't even know what the discussion is. Year 17.
So you think it's over?
Skip,
Year 17 really has nothing to do with it.
But 25 and a half, 10 and a half, 10.7, and 8 in the West. Because you tell us now, Chris Broussard has been telling me since he been coming on. He in the East. Now we in the West. We the best in the West. And Chris Broussard don't want to give me no love.
Let me add, I'm going to destroy your argument. You know I love LeBron.
Yeah, destroy that BS narrative how he goes to any team and takes it to the finals. If you want to include the fact that he trades 90% of the team and adds superstars, then true. But you're not going to include that. So that's a BS thing. And I can't believe there are actually guys out there that actually believe that. When you look at a lot of these stupid celebrities that come on TV, right? They're really coming on TV to promote their movies, their books, or their shows, right? That's really what they're coming on TV. So in order to do that, they got to stroke LeBron James' balls and be PC. So a lot of these guys come on TV and say, "Oh man, I trust in King James. I never bet against him. He can take a lottery team and take them to the finals." Like it's just BS.
Brian, but it's just obvious. Milwaukee, you said a playoff team.
Yeah.
In the West, without Giannis? Are they a playoff team in the West without Giannis?
No.
Okay. Take Anthony Davis and the rest of them without LeBron and put them in the East. They're a playoff team. You know that. In fact, they're fighting for home
And I think they'll be a playoff team in the West.
court advantage. In the East, they definitely in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're the
AD
playoffs.
by himself.
They're probably like, because remember he was in Cleveland this last year. He was the 4th seed because they were 4-5 against Indy.
Well, look, shout out to LeBron James. He truly is having a phenomenal year. I was talking with Steve, the researcher, before I came on, and we couldn't totally verify it, but I feel I am 99.9% sure of this. LeBron's going to lead the league in assists. That no player ever in their 17th year has led the league in any significant category.
Right.
Well, your LeBron James fanboy is just showing. You guys gotta be mindful when they throw these little age stats that no one has ever done in this amount of time, just out their hats, right? Then they're just a way to boost up LeBron. Like he's the first in year 17 in this amount of time, and this amount of years, and this amount of seconds, right? With this amount of hair follicles, it's just ridiculous. And they'll normally do that to boost up LeBron. Obviously, in this day and era, guys get to hold the ball a lot more than anybody has ever held it, really, in NBA history. And you look at guys with green lights like Will Chamberlain. James Harden probably has the most freedom of any superstar I've ever seen, right? The most freedom of any superstar I've ever seen. You look at Russell Westbrook when he was on the Thunders. Brother was taking up 50 shots in the playoffs. When he was on Oklahoma City. You look at LeBron James. You look at John Wall. Even when his team was throwing shots, they actually moved the ball well. They ranked somewhere around 24, 25 assists a game the last time I checked. But when they get John Wall, they often stifle. So you look at guys like John Wall. You look at guys like James Harden to a more degree, to a Russell Westbrook, to a LeBron. A lot of guys say that Larry Bird is a better passer than LeBron James. A lot of guys gonna look at the assist numbers, but I add context to it, right? LeBron James holds the ball far more than Larry Bird has ever did. But if you just look at the skill of passing, the cleverness of passing, right? How clever he was with his pass, And LeBron James is a great passer. But you look at the cleverness of his passing, you look at the quick reflex of his passing, and keep in mind, Larry Bird ran a team system. So a lot of things happened where you had to be a lot smart back then. I think Larry Bird is one of the smartest players in NBA history. Right? He's one of the only superstars to be an actual superstar and a good coach at the same time. Some superstars become horrible coaches. Right? He was coach of the year. So he's a very smart player. You look at Magic Johnson. LeBron James is nowhere near Magic Johnson in passing. Right? But LeBron James passing is probably going to be higher than Larry's, no doubt. He's probably going to pass Magic in passing if he's not already did it already. It's because LeBron James gets to hold the ball a lot more and play his system, right? And play in this weak defensive era, right? And I try not to hold guys to any era, but that's just the context of it. A lot of your stats are influenced by your era.
Right, so I
try to look at the skill. I try to look at the dominance and the success. Because success, skill, and dominance translate to any era. When guys go, swoon over stats, it changes over era. And that's when you go into a gray area.
John Stockton, all-time leader in assists, who played like 19, 20 years. His last year leading the league in assists was his 12th year. So this is truly phenomenal, and then you give him technically, because we know he's played a lot of points.
You give John Stockton, Anthony Davis, and all them shooters around him, brother probably be averaging about 30 assists a game.
He guard his whole career. But technically, he switches to a new position. So In many years, he would be the MVP. But this case is just cut and dry. Number one, Giannis has the better traditional stats. 29.7 points a game to LeBron's 25 in 4 fewer minutes a night, mind you. 13.7 rebounds.
Fewer minutes a game. That's a great one, Chris Broussard. That tells you that Giannis sits down when there's a blowout while the other stays in the game to chase them assists.
To LeBron's 7.7. LeBron's got him in assists, but Giannis still gets you 6 assists. LeBron is higher field goal percentage, the whole 9 yards. Analyticals. Analytics. Giannis has the highest PER, player efficiency rating, of all time.
Yep.
32.02 of all time. Wilt has the next 2 for a single season, second and third. Jordan has the 4th, and LeBron has the 5th in a different year. LeBron right now is 9th in the league in PER, 2nd on his own team. So there's more analytics than real plus minus.
See, you offended Chris Broussard because Chris Broussard is leaning towards the analytical nerd type era. See, one thing you don't want to do is Shannon Sharpe, someone with your level of breaking down the game. You don't want to engage in the analytics battle with the Chris Broussard and Nick Wright, because Nick Wright is going to think that he wins the battle just naming a bunch of stats that he sits at home and memorize all day, right? So what you got to do is provide context. That's how you beat it. You provide context, you compare, right? You compare other players. You're like, well, if you say something like Luka, what about Luka when he get the stat that LeBron has? A lot of guys say that Luka is playing in a softer era. You look at Russell Westbrook and James Harden. A lot of guys accuse James Harden of having the biggest green light or freedom in NBA history, which he does. A lot of guys, when Russell Westbrook was in Oklahoma City, had the whole team built around him chasing assists, right? So why is LeBron James triple-doubles more important than Russell Westbrook's and James Harden? Why is that, right? How is it more important? How is it that Russell Westbrook even won when he got his triple-doubles when he was in Oklahoma City? So why is his triple-doubles less important? So you got to use these players and you got to try to make their little stats that they memorize seem like nonsense and have them talk about the true intangibles of the game. You just can't engage in a memorization battle, especially with someone of your breaking down level, Shannon Sharpe.
So you got that. Then you got the fact that Giannis is arguably, in addition to all the offense, arguably the best defensive player in the league. The best defensive player on the best team, could win Defensive Player of the Year. Then you got the team success. They're on pace to win 71 games. The only 2 teams to win more than that, we know, the Warriors in 2016, the Bulls in 1996. The Bulls had 3 Hall of Famers, Rodman, Jordan, and Pippen. The Warriors had at least 2 in Clay and Steph and probably Draymond, right? He'll probably end up this year don't help him, but he'll probably get in there.
Defensive Player of the Year, 3 titles, and I think he won a gold medal. Wasn't he on that 2016 team?
Okay, so he's probably a Hall of Fame. So 3 Hall of Famers. Then they're winning by 12.2 points a game. There are only 2 teams have won by more points per game. The 72 Lakers, who won.
Man, Draymond Green right now is looking incredibly bad. And like I've always said, he's a glue guy. I never thought that he can carry a team, but this is not in detriment to Draymond. Once Draymond have the right amount of players, then his game is going to elevate. Draymond is extremely smart. He just can't do everything else on the court. But Draymond should have faked the injury too. And I won't say too. He should have milked the injury. Curry hurt his hand and he milked it. Draymond should have, I think he hurt his calf or he hurt something. He should have milked it.
Won 33 straight and had Wilt, Jerry West, and Gail Goodrich, 3 Hall of Famers.
Yep.
Then the 71 Milwaukee Bucks, who had Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And this dude is doing it with Chris Middleton. No shade on Chris Middleton.
You shaded
but
him.
Giannis does not have a second superstar. LeBron's got AD. And Giannis, all the teams in his lane.
He just made back-to-back All-Star teams.
Yeah, so did Draymond Green at one point.
Leading this league at 44% from the three-point line. He is a second star, but nobody gives him. He's a starless.
Chris Middleton is incredibly efficient. However, he gets incredibly inefficient in key moments of the playoffs. Because he let them down in Game 3. That was the 20-point of the series. When Toronto won 4 straight, it went to overtime in Game 3, and Milwaukee should have won. They could have been up 3-0. Like, Middleton did his share of disappearing too, but guys just point to Giannis. And that's fine. That's what it means to be a superstar. But that's also because the media want to throw Giannis away. Keep in mind, Lakers is, right, they are a great team. However, nobody expect Milwaukee to be even better than they was last year. So they have no choice but to acknowledge Giannis. They don't want to give him any media love. They don't want to give him any media love. They want to hurry up and throw him away. So they're going to hold his Eastern Conference. They're going to hold his Eastern Conference mistakes by his neck. Even though his competition buddy in LeBron James, who he competing with, didn't make the playoffs.
Star.
Okay.
Nobody even
But is he a second
recognized.
superstar?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So I get he's
But
a he's a
I'm going to
legit
go star. I'm going to go
he's
legit.
a nice star. But there's no and this is the same argument that helped LeBron win his 2 MVPs in Cleveland when they won 61 games and 66 games. Because who was his second star? Mo Williams? You know, so it was like he's doing it kind of by himself. Mo made all-star teams with LeBron. Derrick Rose, when he won it in Chicago, it was like, who's his second guy? He had no second guy. Allen Iverson, when he won it with Philadelphia, who's the second guy? So this is the formula we've used. I've been voting for 25 years. I'm sorry. I think even you agree with me now.
No.
It's just over. I mean, what?
Okay.
Skip.
My turn. I'm going to break the tie.
Go ahead and break the tie.
Please.
I give you this. In PER, which is the ultimate test to me, I've got Giannis running away with the all-time best, and I got LeBron 11th. I don't know what your stats are, but 1 to 11. That's
11th this year.
Yes, right now, right now. That's a significant gap. And I've got Giannis #1 in the NBA in defensive win.
Skip be irritating me with that little bling he got on. Ever since Lil Wayne gave him that, he still haven't took it off. And when you guys don't see it with him on the show, he just have it under his shirt. The brother hasn't taken that off since Lil Wayne gave it to him. Like, he wore that bling far too much. Him and Shannon Sharpe got that little Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy Unite necklace. Oh, man.
Shares. So when you're setting the all-time record with your offensive production and you're #1 in defense, that's hard to fight. Okay,
But
now, my bottom line is, I believe LeBron James will win the MVP.
Really?
What is it always about? Heisman's, MVPs?
Stories.
Storyline.
But would you look at that? Keep in mind, guys, these guys be the same people that come up here and claim somebody got robbed. Because now they just named the formula of how you should win MVP. Colin Cowherd do this crap. Rachel Nichols do it too. They claim about stories and storylines and narratives because when you have to rely on a narrative, you just want the drama. You don't know nothing about the game, right? But when somebody look at a narrative of Russell Westbrook, they fall in love with another narrative, and it's not LeBron. Then ironically, LeBron actually have a season where he deserve it, but they establish a formula that somebody uses, and then Russell Westbrook wins the MVP. The James Harden wins the MVP. And ironically, LeBron actually puts up stats that he should have won. But this is the standard that you guys want to push. It's this narrative and storylines to force the MVP in LeBron's hands. Because of what? Because of what? This is why you can't take these guys seriously, man. Like, these guys can't tell you why, in no shape or form, why he deserves the MVP over Giannis. Shannon Sharpe threw out a stat that his researcher gave him. And his researcher couldn't give him no one else. His researcher probably told him. He said, hey, man, give me a stat that LeBron leads in advanced analytics. Right? And then Shannon Sharpe asked this researcher, who you think is MVP? And he told him Giannis. So now they go into this storyline and narrative crowd. Right? And if LeBron do win it through this quote-unquote storyline and narrative, which I don't think he will, then Giannis is going to get robbed. But as history, guys love to do revisionist history in favor of LeBron. They're going to say how LeBron dominated this season, right? So Giannis needs to win the championship. That's what Giannis needs to do.
Yeah!
Yes. What was his storyline last year, though?
Narratives. Here we go. What happened with Giannis last year? Everybody voted for him as the runaway MVP, and he wins his first one. And did he pay back all of his supporters who voted for him in the playoffs? He did not.
Well, LeBron didn't pay back them Laker fans that was booing him. He sent them home just like he sent himself home. They didn't make the playoffs.
Came up mini-me small.
LeBron needed more time to replenish that little fake hairline he got on.
They won the first 2 games against Toronto, and they lost 4 straight. And I don't even want to bore you with the stats, but his stats went in the toilet in the last 4 games. They built the wall, and he could not break through the wall. And he showed a huge, severe Achilles heel of a weakness. He can't shoot it beyond 8 or 10 feet. This year, he's trying to better that. Okay, so it was such a letdown off his first MVP season. I think in hearts of voters.
Well, see, this is why I don't like. You're disrespecting the Toronto Raptors, right? Giannis and Bucks could have won that series, but the reason why they didn't win is because Toronto was even better. And some guys did disappear, but notice how every time someone wins or loses, it always have to be about somebody choking, right? Like Giannis wants to go in the game and choke, right? Giannis wants to go in the game and disappear, and some guys do disappear, right? Even when they shouldn't disappear. But he went against a historical defense that had a lot of bigs that you could play. Notice how in this era you can't really play a lot of bigs because they're a lot slow. Toronto had the luxury of playing a lot of bigs that could funnel Giannis. He had Marc Gasol, you had Pascal Siakam, you had Serge Ibaka, right? You had Kawhi Leonard, right? Kyle Lowry used to be a little tough, scrappy defender when he was young. He has it in him. You had a lot of wing players, right? And OG Anunoby was hurt, so he could have been healthy. He would have been another defender. You had Danny Green. You had Nick Nurse and his clever schemes. But it's always got to be Giannis' fault, but you're really disrespecting the Toronto Raptors. You yourself call Kawhi Leonard the best player in the NBA, so Skip Bayless. So it would do you good, instead of saying Giannis came up small, it'll do you good if you would have said Kawhi just outplayed Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Maybe not your heart. It's going to be hard to vote.
I mean, Kawhi played Giannis Antetokounmpo. Excuse me.
Vote him a back-to-back MVP, which is a huge thing in NBA history. It's a big deal to go back-to-back. Steph did it. Steve Nash did it. Okay. All right. So be careful with this because the LeBron story in year 17 is a great one. I give in to that because Karl Malone won at age 35, an MVP, and he was slightly older than LeBron is, but he was in his 14th season. Right. So this is 17th season, and I give you this, he has been phenomenal given what I thought he would or wouldn't be. He has had a huge bounce back, and he actually, his early season campaign of #WashedKing served him beautifully because it set everybody up for, I'm not the Wash King.
That's why he's trying hard in the regular season, because he's chasing that redemption narrative, right? Keep in mind, LeBron James normally have a formula. He normally have I'm going to see how this team work, and if this team doesn't work how it normally works, I'm going to trade everybody, right? And to be honest with you, I think he, in his mind, want to trade everybody in the beginning of the season, but he has to act like he wants to be patient with the team. But now he has the team that he wants, and he had a disappointing season. LA is not Cleveland. They're not going to be quote-unquote happy that he's just there. LA, Lakers is a spoiled brat franchise. They want nothing less than the championship. They don't care about your stats. So LeBron James knows that he's going to have to get home court advantage and put himself in the best predicament to win a championship. But really what he would have wanted is to have Kawhi Leonard, right, alongside Anthony Davis. And like I've always said, so LeBron James can be his celebrity on outside the basketball court while not applying energy, because they'll be winning almost every game. But now it's going to come down to him playing hard in the playoffs, and we're going to see.
I'm just the king.
Yeah, you-
I'm back, right?
So
Now,
he did that purposely.
Well, it's
See
set
the
up.
storyline.
The backlash from that became a good lash.
Well,
from
you know
that,
what it
right?
started with what? When you remember, Jenny, you remember this. He kept showing them low lights. Let's see it again.
Okay, that was last year.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Well, you looked pretty washed last year.
And
Don't
you
like
said
those.
when the who was the guy for the Knicks that blocked the shot the last thing?
Hazonia.
Yeah.
Mario Hazonia.
We saw that 100 times.
Yeah. They're like it's over. They're like it's
No.
over.
Okay, so just for the record, this is a man who's still LeBron.
It's funny to me, man. They're going to want you to forget LeBron James missing the playoff season, but if the Warriors come back and be dominant, not as much, not to the degree of when they had KD, but they're going to be dominant again, guys will not want you to forget this season of Draymond Green.
Lousy free throw shooter and no better than average from 3-point. In fact, he's below average in the rankings of 3-point.
He's better than Giannis from 3 and
Okay, but again, he's supposed to be. He's a high volume 3-point shooter. So given that, it kills me that we're having this discussion. But I'm giving into it because I know so many in the media love this man. They love what he does off the floor.
In other words, they love this man. They want him to be the quote-unquote king, right? They want him to be the quote-unquote Muhammad Ali of basketball. They're probably going to have Jason Whitlock assassinated because Jason Whitlock, one of his monologues was, Kobe Bryant is the most inspirational athlete since Ali, right? And it's funny hearing a lot of these sports analysts that love LeBron. And keep in mind, LeBron James fans and Kobe Bryant fans are like Bloods and Crips. Right? They're like Bloods and Crips. So if you like one, you're going to hate the other. So it's funny hearing a lot of these guys say a lot of things about Kobe and act like they've always loved him when they didn't. The moment you became obsessed with LeBron James was the moment you just started to tear down Kobe Bryant. That's what really happened. Besides the fact that y'all using his death for clickbait and views, right? But it's funny, right? They're going to want him to... But like I said, the fact that Kobe was able to get the amount of attention and become the most inspirational athlete since Ali, that's a title that they're going to want LeBron James to have, right? LeBron James, obviously, we all know about him speaking out and all of this. They just want him to win simply because they're a fan of him. They're fanboys. And I've already told you about being a fanboy. It's idolatry. It's idol worship. Right? That's what it is. The liberal media, the sports media want you to idol worship. This is why they say guys love him. This is why they say storylines. Because they want LeBron James to win because they idolize him. No objectivity. They idolize him. Paul George was talking about, and a lot of superstars was talking about, why guys burn people's jerseys when they leave. This is what happens when you get into this idol worship. It's because you start worshiping your players like they're one of you. And then when they leave your team or they leave your sense of reality, then you get extremely emotionally hurt. This is why guys either hate you or love you. There is no middle ground. There's no objectivity. They either hate you or they love you. One game you good, one game you trash. Or rather, one game you're an MVP candidate, one game you trash. One game you underrated, another game you overrated. You can't be thinking with your emotions all the time. Skip Bayless just pulled off a huge idol worship type thing. Guys want him to win because they love this man. Right? And that's fine. You can want your favorite players to win, but at the end of the day, you can't just be making up BS, trying to switch reality around, and even be shameless like Shannon Sharpe, or lose your credibility just to see your idol LeBron James win another MVP, so you could push this BS Michael Jordan versus LeBron debate.
They love him as the face not only of the Lakers but of the NBA. They love the speech that he gave to a few nights after Kobe.
And the further reason why guys say that that I say that he tries to be Superman, is based off his speech to Kobe, or rather what he said to Kobe, that he got big shoulders for a reason. He's going to carry Kobe's legacy. Keep in mind, Kobe's legacy is the opposite of your legacy. Everything Kobe stands for is the opposite of you, LeBron James. Everything Kobe said. The only similarities you and Kobe have is the fact that both of you are superstars. That's the only similarities that you have. LeBron James possessed qualities that are considered opposite to Kobe's qualities. If you like the quote-unquote selfish or domination mentality, you like Kobe. If you like the passing, play it safe mentality, then you like LeBron. So when you say you're going to carry Kobe's legacy, right, that just tells me that you're just pretty much trying to seem like Superman or the king. Even when you're speaking out on baseball, you want to be the king. Even in your offense, LeBron James has wired every situation he is in to make him seem like the king, to promote his brand in that little barbershop show. On his offense, where he's the planet and everybody else is the moon, the way he speaks, his speech, right?
Past. And all that together is fairy tale, storybook, narrative.
So
That's
you
what's gonna
think
happen.
you
I
think
believe
Giannis should win it, but LeBron
the
will
stats,
win it?
it should
Is that
be
what you're saying?
over, and the hay is in his barn. He's already done it. But remember, Milwaukee has the 8th hardest closing schedule. The Lakers only have the 19th hardest. So I think LeBron can make a lot of hay down the stretch.
You know the voters. I know the voters. I don't think the voters will be swayed just by the score.
Of course not, because they're sick of it, right? Or at least I will hope so. And down the stretch, LeBron, if they secure a 1 seed, LeBron might low manage more. Well, if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and this, that, no nonsense.